I'm Johnny Lieberman, and you're watching LMP. What does LMP stand for?
Late Night Play
Oh,
Set.
yeah, that's right. I've been on there. Yeah, good show. You should like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Late night, woo! Let's get some subbies!
I got no originality. I got nothing.
Goodbye! Woo! What's up, you guys? Your churros were a hit. They're gone. Killed it. Nice job.
I love the MC life.
What's up? This is what it's all about right here. Right? Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, you guys? Woo! All right, everybody, welcome back. We are having a good time already. This is the Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. There are buttons to push. There are things to remove, things to zoom. Here, we're doing it all. Oh, it feels good. I got my Urban Outlaw shirt on. There's a reason for that. Welcome back to Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. The lady to my right is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans, and it's time to take a group deep breath. I actually feel better. That worked out well for me. Hey, everybody. It is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. Sorry about the Instagram audience. Once there wasn't a song, we got all confused. Here's the missus over here. Here's everybody. Hey, RB3 joined, 11 passed. All right. It is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021, and it's Tradecraft Tuesday, which means that the first thing I need to do before anything else is offer up one of two selection to the missus. These are courtesy of Tradecraft Farms and our friends over at Sticky Vape, which you can see just across the way there. They moved in just across the way. Brand new building in the Arts District downtown. Right as they move in, our guest moves out. It's going to be good stuff. The Stiglet is with us. He's going to be interning this summer, and currently he's sitting right over there. Hi. He doesn't have a mic, but that's what he looks like. And over here we've got the Instagram audience, so you're with us as well. And then the really exciting thing, we have Mr. Magnus Walker here tonight. We're going to be talking about the next big thing. The next big thing is his show over on the Haggerty channel. And season 1 was such a hit that they rushed out season 2. It's already shot. It's already in the can. It's already edited. And it's already coming out this very week.
I'd love that.
That's real.
That never happened. That's awesome.
You're awesome. You know that? Oh, gosh. You're way better than I am. This is why I'm really excited Joey's here, because he'll be able to push these buttons during this summer, which hopefully he'll be a little bit better than I am. Carissable is here. Hello, Carissable. Every time I see your name, I can't help but mention or bring across this little car here I'm so excited about. But over the weekend, I couldn't help but look at it and think about how easy it would be to paint the green yellow and do a little meatball and make the little white letters in the tires and put some X's on the headlights. So, I don't know. We'll see. I love this one as is, but it's possible that it may have to be customized. And or we might need another one to be customized. But this is awesome. So thanks, Carissable. The selections this evening are, Mrs. Ryan, from Sticky Vape. They're both sativa or sativa at least dominant. One is Christian Fletcher's Maui Wowie. Sorry, it's like written in mirror writing, mirror font. Maui Wowie cannabis pen. Maui Wowie. You would think I had some already. Or gelato, an old standby that always worked for you.
That one.
That's what I would have said too.
Is he a surfer?
Yeah, he must be. He must be. This looks like. Oh yeah, of course it is. Of course he's a surfer. It's a friggin' wave. Of course it is. I thought it was a beautiful. Looked like a beautiful painting. All right, we're getting silly here. We got to get together here. There you go.
But
it's silver too. That's different. Usually they're white or black.
Cool.
So that's nice too. Goes with everything. It's very, very Art Deco, Mrs. Ryan. Good choice on the base pen. All right, moving on.
Yes,
we got to get Magnus here in a few minutes, but there's a bunch of stuff we need to talk about first. Do we just want to open with the... Well, first of all, let me say happy birthday to Bobby Bass. We missed his birthday party the other day. It was a big one. A lot of our friends were there. Happy birthday, buddy. Sorry we missed it. It was very, very late for us, and when you hear about the weekend... You'll know there was just not a chance in hell. But super happy birthday to you, and now on to the weekend, Mrs. How was your weekend, and how you feeling after it?
I'm worn out, but it was awesome.
Yeah, you are worn out. You can barely walk today.
Yeah.
We had a couple good days, and then that's that.
I've come to realize exertion really takes me up for weeks. Like, so when the elevator was out, like, stairs down, like, wore me out, and I didn't know.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing. The piggyback ride was like, that only kind of worked, and it was really only the one flight of stairs where that would be, whatever. I hope that everyone knows just how much you go through and just how amazing you are to be able to put the smile and laughter on that everybody loves out of you. That would be hard for anyone, let alone what you go through. That's my opinion.
Thanks.
Do you realize that at all?
No, it's just, honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but it's just kind of how I am. So I'm just kind of used to this.
Well,
not the physical part. That's new, but whatever.
A lot of us think you are nothing shy of a warrior, and I don't know why I'm so confident that you're gonna get better. Like I still feel like this is something you're just battling right now.
Agreed.
And I hope that. I hope you get better. How's that? All right, the weekend. Breakfast Club on Friday was amazing. You didn't go because of the heat again. If you watched the GBC weather report on Thursday from Dasha, the Russian weather girl, she said it was going to be very hot, and it was. It was over 90. It's supposed to be the same this week, but good grief. I'd rather you come and us leave early than you miss it again. Even though we did a lot of other shit this weekend.
Thank you.
Just saying, you were missed, and you're missed every time.
Like
the people descend. Where's Nicole?
I think I'll try to make it this week.
Even though it's going to be hot. Good for you.
Hey,
Jean-Henri. See, everyone's loving that. Look at all the hearts you get from that. Look at that. Telefunken Motorsports is here. What's up? We wouldn't sound this good if it weren't for Telefunken Motorsports. And I guess the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. They should get a tiny bit of credit. Right now, I think Artie Lang is their only success story. Other than local radio people and stuff. Anyway, okay. So after that, we did the Smoking Tire podcast with. That's why I'm wearing a watch, by the way. I went and found the only watch I own. You all know the story of why I don't wear watches, but I found the one back when I did the Apple Watch, and put it on for this watch podcast that we did. With a guy named Ariel Adams. So I think that's going to be up in a week or so. But check out the Smoking Tire podcast channel if you're into watches. and the Smoking Tire podcast channel. That was Thursday, and it was an interesting way to start the week because we don't usually do much after Breakfast Club because we're usually worn out. So I came home and then I drove again and then went to work down at the Smoking Tire. They washed Yellow Car, so Yellow Car looks amazing. Thank you to Clinton down at West Side Collector Car Storage. Shiny again. I'll get to Saturday now. I showed up at Saturday where at some point over the weekend, I got a text from our friend and our guest today saying, "Hey, fella, I got something for you," and a picture of what it was. And I thought to myself, no way. Like, I know he's like a friend, and I know that, this is the sort of thing that happens, but it's just still new to me, and I still feel like that imposter syndrome, like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. Is Wayne's World, right? So, but I get this text. And the shiny car on Friday leads me to the first thing Magnus said when I saw him on Saturday was, "Car's looking a little clean. I don't know." Because he was always a dirt, don't slow you down kind of guy, so he always kind of got it. Anyway, but here we go. Here they are, everybody. I've already even worn them. I wore them in the Malibu kitchen on Sunday, thinking I would see Magnus. I saw him from a block away. Oh, we'll get to that. All right, one thing at a time. Jay Ryan, tell a story, right? Get in there. Look at these beauties, huh? How cool is that?
That's pretty right.
I'm showing him now because I know we'll probably talk about him when he's in here, but the truth is we're here to talk about next big thing, so I don't want to bombard him. Also, I would imagine that he may be tired of talking about this. But I am grateful to have these. I think they're super cool. I think a lot of you guys know that I have done limited releases with Nike in the past. I've done a couple of them. Back when the Back to the Future stuff was big, and the Hyper Dunk McFly came out with Toby Bryant. Yeah, you guys remember Toby Bryant? Kobe Bryant, and then we did the Power Laces as well a little bit later. And so I've been around limited releases from Nike. I know what this world is like, and I have been told from people inside why it is the way it is. So I actually understand this ecosystem. What I never expected was to be on the receiving end. So, because limited means limited. If you watch that turtle episode of Entourage, just heard Matt talk about them. Wow, they actually look really cool. Yeah, here you go. Here they are in the flesh. And look at the different tartan inside. Anyway, limiteds are legitimately and genuinely limited, and they are that way for a reason. So that's why I just feel really, really great. And I'm wearing them. Screw everybody, I'm wearing them. Not everybody, but the people who said not to wear them. I guess it's an investment grade type thing where if I just left these in that beautiful rainbow box they came in and just forgot about them in a few years or whatever, they're actually quite valuable, like thousands of dollars valuable. They're I'm repping my friend. I'm repping my friend. These were free to me. I did nothing to get them other than rep my friend. So I'm wearing them. And the truth is, when I moved, all right, getting to Sunday. So Saturday I was with Magnus getting my new shoes. And then Sunday we were at the Malibu kitchen at the closed Not a Car show where there wasn't a car in the parking lot. And we were there with Mr. Jay Leno. And in order to get him in, I had to move the sign and the Tony Rackley and I actually, we moved the signs and the police tape and all that stuff. And the what we thought were sandbags are actually bags of grain, like from a silo.
Oh,
so
my God.
The bag tore open, and literally, these were just like a silo pouring grain all over my brand new sneakers. So they are definitely getting worn and worn in well quickly. Mag is looking, how he's joining us now in this video. Oh, look at that, Joey. Joey, move that camera or your head. All right, so moving along. That was the weekend. We had a grand old time at Malibu Kitchen because there wasn't a car show. I know that seems strange, but that's what was fun to us. It really reminded me of the old days when you could have a conversation without a whole lot of noise. Just not the people, the cars, the whole bit.
I was going to say it reminded me of old times. Like it was chill.
Everybody was in a good mood. Benny was in a good mood.
Yeah.
Bill was in a good mood.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
It's
what
a
it
nice
was.
little refresh.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. All right, so Magnus shoes, Smoking Tire. So, all right, everybody knows that we had been trying to get Jay Leno for I don't know, a month or so. I'd asked him, and he said yes the first time, which I couldn't believe. He's like, "What? What is it again?" And I told him, the Letterman thing and the whole, and he said it wasn't a problem and whatever. But then I saw him like a week later, and I was like, so when do you want to do it? He goes, what is it again? Literally the whole thing over again. And I was like, oh, I see how this is going to go. It may never happen. That's okay. Somehow this weekend, it was like it was like it clicked with him, and he knew what it was now, and now he understood it, and now he wanted to do it. And Jay Leno apparently is quite like me, where if you're not sure you want to do something, it's not getting done. But if you do decide that you want to do something, you want to do it. That's
away.
it. Let's do it. Let's get it going. So on Sunday when we were talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah. When do you want to do that? You want to do it tomorrow?" And I just smiled. I was like, "Yeah. I mean, we can do it tomorrow. It's whatever you want. If Jay Leno's saying yes, I mean, we'll do it whenever the hell you want." I explained to him that for the audience, for you guys, and just so you know, I did explain this to him. We go live at 5 with everybody so they can enjoy it. Lots of loves. Live at 5 Tuesdays and Thursdays. That just wasn't necessarily convenient to him, and he really wanted to get in here immediately. I thought he didn't want me to do too much prep. That's what I thought. Yeah, all right, but I'll keep you on your toes. Anyway, so we did it. Jay came in yesterday, and we had a grand old time. You saw I posted on Instagram. I'm not sure when that'll be out. Obviously, that's quite a special episode. A little bit of a spoiler. Only very little talk about cars. That means we go only one other place. Places that I've never seen anybody ever go with him, and I've never heard him give the answers he gave. So I'm hoping that that the late night and the comedy people really, really enjoy it. And then the car people, there's some stuff for you too. Good stuff. Tedward, so excited for the show. Tomorrow's customs, poodles and potholes, rocks motorsports. Everybody's here. Comedy, and Dave. We talk a lot about Dave. That's all I'm going to say. And I can confirm, because this came up on social media, but I can confirm, yes, I did ask him if he actually hid in the closet. So go watch The Late Shift this weekend and do your homework to find out what the hell Jay and Jay are going to be talking about. It's good stuff. All right. Are we good? Is that it? All right. Commercials time, right? This is my favorite part of the show. And then we'll get our guest in here. Joey, how you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Doing real
Is
good.
this everything you hoped it'd be?
Definitely.
I don't. Is it seriously? What did you expect? Obviously bigger.
Well, yeah,
Thought this was in a soundstage.
The thing for people who've never seen the stage before is just from the camera angles, it looks massive. And then you see it in real life, and it's like, whoa.
He's like, I'm sitting in the kitchen right now. I don't understand how this works.
In the kitchen and in the studio all at the same time.
They say all that separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. St. Clair Insurance has coverage for your toys. Currently, if you own a car, you should be aware that the automotive market is all over the place. The values of cars are skyrocketing. Nothing is plummeting, by the way. I haven't heard of a single car where like, oh, that's not worth anything anymore.
Neither have I.
Everything is moving, and it's definitely in the upward slope. So good business would be going to get your car evaluated, and then the second thing immediately you're going to want to do is, once you can say it, is to check out your car insurance. Highly recommend St. Clair Insurance for your automotive coverage needs, especially for your collector cars. They specialize in collector car insurance. They have Hagerty, of course, but they have many, many others as well. They have something that will suit your needs, and most likely, from our experience, less than the big box competitors. So coverageforyourtoys.com, coverageforyourtoys.com.
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
Love you, Jeff St. Clair. Need a lift lately? Cruise into a healthy holiday. Somebody needs a new card. Cruise into the second half of 2021 with Cruise into Wellness CBD. The cruise is with a Z. Enter promo code LATE-NIGHT for 20% off your order at cruisintowellness.com. Cruisintowellness.com.
Cruisintowellness.com.
And then my personal favorite. Hi, this is Jay Ryan from Late Night Playset, reminding you to please like, subscribe, and comment below. This feeds the internet algorithm and eventually us as well. Be a pal, like, subscribe, and comment below. It will be fire. And here is the smoke that denotes the fire. I'm not going to let too much of it. Oh, that's more than I thought. All right. Well, it is what it is. Okay, let's take a very quick break and tell everybody about a few words from our friends at Oh So Delicious Hot Sauce. I'm going to move this camera over there. I'm going to get Magnus in this chair, and we're going to talk all about the next big thing coming up on the Hagerty YouTube channel. More to come right after this Late Night Playset.
Whoa, oh so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by Bears. Garlic and serrano mixed with love and care. You can put it on your eggs, pour it on your rice. It's great on a leg, it's better on a slice. It's oh so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by Bears. Oh so delicious hot sauce. Great on everything except oatmeal.
Get your bottle today at ohsodelicious.org. $1 from every bottle sold goes to the National Military Family Association.
Oh, yeah. And where's the interlude? With that, I always forget that our guest likes to walk on because I have to give him the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, the urban outlaw, you know him obviously from Breakfast Club, where he's most famous these days. No, the Nike shoe launch, the Magnus Walker coloring book. Here he is, my buddy, Magnus Walker.
Hey, kid.
Hey, man.
Welcome.
Good
Goodness, whatever. Always with you.
What's up, my brother?
Here's a little gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Never like
awesome.
to show up empty-handed.
I love
For
it.
kids of all ages, you know.
I love it. Bring that mic to you wherever you are comfy.
Here we go. Oh, spinning that around.
Yeah,
Got
we'll get
the water hiding.
Get everything out of the way.
First of all, I want to congratulate you on having the Stiglet in the house.
Thank you very much. We are very excited about that.
Yeah.
We really are. I need an extra set of hands.
You
around
certainly need well, you got so many cameras now, you certainly do need an extra set of hands. And congratulations on having the top dog in the hot seat yesterday.
here. That was a big deal.
Yeah, big deal when Jay comes to you.
You know, that didn't seem weird until after he left and we couldn't figure out what was odd. And it was having Jay Leno in your house.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just on your screen. But,
Got it.
Well, he's been to your place. You must know what that's like.
Jay's been to my place a couple of times, yeah. And people always find it strange. Wow, Jay came to you. So congrats on Jay coming to you. It's a big deal. What did he think to the set?
Oh, Lord.
Let's talk about
This
Jay
is
on
where
the
I-
set.
this is
Did he
where
sit
I-
in this chair or that chair?
He sat right where you
All
are.
right, that
This
feels
is
good.
This is
I can
where
smell him.
This is where I feel like it's the stay tuned moment. How much should I be saying about this? You're a good showman.
Say whatever you want. I mean, come on. He's
Well-
a king.
We definitely talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely talk about it.
So that show is not aired yet. So you don't want to say too much about what he talked about, right?
The truth is, we're trying to get that one sponsored because it's
Okay.
kind of a bigger deal.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't want to say too much
Yeah,
just
of
because
course.
theoretically somebody's going to pay for it.
I noticed he had some sort of sport coat suit jacket on. He wasn't full denim.
He got dressed up for
Yeah.
us. He asked, it's video, right? And I go,
Yeah.
he saw a picture of the set and he goes, it's video, right? I was like, that would be a shit ton of effort for us to have gone through. To not, and he said, okay. And I think that meant I'm going to dress up.
Yeah. Ironically, when he came to me, he also didn't wear the denim outfit. He had a black T-shirt on. Everyone freaked out that he wasn't in the Canadian tuxedo.
We didn't wait for this.
Yeah. Who's this guy? I don't recognize him. He's not wearing denim on denim on denim. Did I tell you this story one day? First time I ever went to him back in 2012, and I snuck into the back corner of his vast warehouse, which is overwhelming when you first go there. But I found the holy grail of denim shirts on a rack in the back bathroom. And I swear to God, he must have had at least 48 denim shirts on this one rack in a back bathroom in the corner of the warehouse. All the same size and almost all the same shade of faded denim. It was just, I took a photo of it. It was like one of the few things I took a photo of because, of course, there's a sign that says no photos, but no one pays any attention to it. But we've all seen the cars, but the 48 denim shirts in an old disused bathroom, which was obviously put it in the storage room back there in the back corner bathroom. There were about 48 denim shirts on this rack. It was just such a cool shot.
Anytime I've ever been to like the back shop room of a dealership or something. Oh, Stiglet, would you get Magnus's water too? Thank you so much. Since you work here now, thank you so
What's
much.
he
I have
doing?
somebody to do that. He's got a water for you too.
Oh,
a
water boy.
fresh one
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
Well, this one's,
you
perfectly
can
room
have them
temperature.
both. You can have them both.
Is this on the Tonight Cup? The Tonight Show Cup?
It's
Whoa,
black.
thank you very much. That's right. I'll be seeing you Thursday, don't forget.
Oh, I won't forget.
Thursday morning. Your mum's very persistent, I got to say.
Oh my God! How do you think he's here? Of course, absolutely. Donna's laughing right now.
Yeah.
Donna.
There she is.
Whole family.
Persistence pays off. It's a family affair.
I don't remember what the hell we were talking about, but yes, it
The
gets
back room
weird.
of the dealership.
Oh yeah, the back room of the dealership.
They have Jay denim shirts.
all of those, the shop guy, they have like a laundry service.
Yeah.
And they all come, and it's just, there's if a guy's name is Ted, he's got 6 of those
6
outfits.
Teds, yeah.
Exactly. And I'm guessing, I bet, it never occurred to me, I bet Jay just runs everything through the same type of thing at
I
the
think
shop
so.
there.
I don't know if he has an outside laundry service, and I asked one of his
that's a good
guys,
point.
how many shirts does he have, and he has over 100 of them.
Oh, my God.
So 2 J's in-house. This must have been a magic moment for you, like Double Trouble, right?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit.
It got weird. It was
It
awesome.
felt weird.
It got weird. It was awesome.
Weird in a good way or weird in an awkward way?
Nothing about...
Did you meet him downstairs? I guess you had to.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I
He
I
buzzed in and he came
Hey,
up.
it's Jay Leno. I swear to God, it was like Seinfeld. Hey, it's Jay Leno. Like you, we know him. He's a car friend.
Yeah.
It's not odd to
Different
talk to
environment.
him. It's not odd to talk to him. It wasn't odd to ask him. It was a little weird to finally put it together, but once he wanted to do it, it all just happened so quickly. Getting him here, easy. The moment he came into the set and we kind of started doing the thing in the lights in this environment, it got weird. It got weird fast.
Do you think, in a way, it was this strange role reversal of you were the guy behind the desk, he was the guest? Was it partially that? Possibly.
He was awesome. He wasn't weird at all. I think it
You
was,
were weird.
I think it was. Yeah, the first time you were here, I remember
Did you
there was
wear
a
your
weird
Leno's
thing.
Garage T-shirt like that?
No, that's for you. This is for you. This is solely for you. Because I didn't wear these shoes. I thought that would be weird.
Yeah.
You just
Grandma
gave me
balls.
the
Yeah.
shoes.
You don't want to do that. So back to Jay. I mean,
The moment he got here, it was like the best Jay Leno I ever saw comedically and entertaining was the Jay Leno with David Letterman. And the best David Letterman I ever saw was the same. I told him, in my opinion, you two were never better than when you were with each other. And he has sat in those chairs for Dave before when they were on late night. Like, he's just been in this environment. Once he was here, he kind of just got back into that whole thing. And it wasn't so much role reversal. It was more like I kept... You know how they say you're supposed to listen and not think about what you're going to say next?
Yes.
That's all I would find it like I'm watching Jay Leno on television. Like, oh, wait, I'm here.
he's here.
I got to do something.
It's a big moment.
Yeah.
Did he do a monologue?
No monologue.
When are you having Letterman on the show then? You gotta have Letterman on the show now. Letter dude.
We've been trying for a long time.
Really?
I hope that this helps us.
Catalyst.
I think once everyone sees the conversation we had and how it's really mainly about those days, I think maybe it'll open doors that are already ajar.
Yeah, the doors
They're already ajar.
Did Howard Stern come up in the conversation?
You know, he brought him up at one point,
Yeah.
and I completely forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
hoping Jay comes back at some point because I would love to talk
It's
about
almost
that.
like an East Coast, West Coast. Are you Biggie? Are you Tupac? Right? Type of thing.
Yeah, and I asked him a couple things that inadvertently led to things that were controversial with Howard Stern that I completely forgot about. He's like, well, Howard said. And I was like, oh,
pretty good.
Howard got involved or whatever?
Yeah,
like, I
of
didn't
course,
that's
of
not why
course
I'm
Howard
bringing it
gets
up.
involved.
Like, I was interested in the backstory of whatever the thing, not the controversy.
Yeah. So that leads me to another question. Now that you've got Stigler.
Do you want to sit here?
No.
Okay.
But now you got Stigler and we're talking about Howard Stern. I mean, whose character on the Stern Show would Stigler be? Is he,
What a great question.
is he like the Artie Lang character, or is he more the Fred Norris character?
Well, he
or-
hasn't said anything yet, so he's more Fred
Okay,
Norris.
more Fred Norris. Yeah.
I mean, he's
Artie Lang
answered when spoken to, of course, but
okay.
he hasn't like chimed in
Okay,
like an
okay.
Artie would have.
yet. Okay, this is good.
What do you think? If you
Fred
had to
Norris
give him
at
one.
this point, I mean, I used to listen to Howard way back in the pre-Sirius days, and then I listened to him in the early Sirius days, and then I'm not really listening to much radio, but I follow him on the gram. So, of course,
Oh.
occasionally he crops up in the feed.
He's on Instagram now?
He's been on Instagram for quite some time.
No,
so
I follow Beth. I didn't even
Okay.
realize she was on.
You gotta
I
follow,
like the kitty cats.
The North Shore Animal League.
I grew up with that.
remember
I grew up with that.
But you got to follow Howard because, of course, I just dropped right back into it almost at least 10 years later. They're still taking the piss out of Ronnie the limo driver.
Oh, God.
But Ronnie the limo driver's all white, gray haired, and he just looks ancient.
Get out of here, dude.
Exactly. And he's all Mr. NASCAR, right? Running the limo driver.
That's right. He's got a pace car. He's got a pace
That's
car.
right. You got the NASCAR jacket. Yeah. Anyway.
So I guess she's Robin in that equation, right?
Yeah, definitely
Yeah, okay.
Robin in that equation.
All right,
You're
well,
gonna
who are
use the
you?
weather. Who am I
Are
on
you
the show?
just you for being you're
If I'm on the
already
Howard
yourself.
Stern show, that's a real good question. I don't know. You caught me out on it. Who am I on the Howard Stern
I figure
show?
you're a Howard.
No, you're Howard.
No, on this one, sure, but I figure if you're
Howie. I remember like
in my little thing that you created, sure.
oh, the Howard Stern show. He's still funny. He's a really good interviewer, actually.
When I was a kid, like too young to be watching, he was on after Saturday Night Live.
On the late Saturday
that
night.
Channel 9 show
Yeah,
he
yeah.
always talks about. I grew up with it. 'Cause
Okay.
It was local out
That
of
was real crazy, wacky
Secaucus,
stuff.
New Jersey. It was ridiculous. They were just spanking each other and,
Yeah.
and telling dick and fart jokes
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there.
That was when Howie was big. You know,
Is it Howie? Is it Howie now?
It's Howie. It's
Howie Stern?
Yeah, I love it when when his mum and dad would be on the show. That would be like the best part.
Howard.
That's right, Howie.
Shut up. I told you not to be stupid, you moron.
That's right. It's like
did you,
watching
did
Larry
you like
David.
the movie?
Private Parts?
Yes.
When Private Parts came out in the late 90s, I remember taking everyone that we worked with back in the Serious Clothing days to the premiere
Come on.
of the Howard Stern show, to Private Parts. I think at the Chinese Theater, because this was pre-satellite days, and he was on K-Rock or KR or KLOS, one of those stations. So we just listened to it all the time. And when the movie came out, we bought the book, we went to not the premiere, but the first week it came out. We closed the warehouse that afternoon, and we all went to watch Private Parts. It was great. Really cool.
The reason I brought that up is because we just mentioned that Late Shift movie about Letterman and Leno. It's the same director, Betty Thomas.
Yeah,
did
yeah,
both.
Betty
so
Thomas.
It's even a lot of the same cast. They're all
That's
sort
when he
of
had the
sister
book
movies.
came out as well. The Private Parts book, the first
I
one.
thought that was fantastic. I read that as a kid and was blown away.
Yeah.
It made me a Howard Stern fan.
I think he's kind of underrated because everyone sort of got the Font Man stuff early on MTV days, the show
He was
you were
still
talking
shocking,
about.
shock
yeah.
jock.
But you look at some of those interviews and the bands that he's had on. You know, I saw one the other day where he had the Foo Fighters on. They were replaying it from, I don't know, a dozen years ago. But some of the performances he had in the studio. I saw him one time where he had Ozzy and Paul McCartney.
I saw that
It was
one.
wrapping up with Ozzy and Paul McCartney came in. I don't think Ozzy had met Paul McCartney, but was obviously a huge Beatles fan. It was like, wow, bringing these people together. He was the catalyst for that and still is, I think.
Oh man.
So,
I
yeah.
love it. You really can. You know this stuff. Why? When are we going to get your podcast going? You should be doing this
well,
job.
For me, it's one of those things where it sounded really exciting when we spoke about it, and then, I moved on to something else, and I'm one of those things where when I'm 100% committed, I'm all in. If I'm not 100% committed, I'm not going to start it until I'm ready to commit. Because, I was talking to Hannah earlier on today, I go, good enough is not the way to greatness, right? Sometimes people are, it's good enough. I go, well, that's not how you become great, right? Good enough is not greatness, right? You got to put the effort in. Everything needs to align. Your mojo's got to be flowing. I'm just not in that headspace where I want to commit to doing it because I know internally I'm not at this moment in time. I got a lot of other things going on, creative juices flowing. And it's just more fun sometimes to come in and do these. So
Yeah.
not
Well, I was
quite
going to
ready
say,
yet.
I wouldn't want to lose this element, too. Like, if you did all of a sudden, then you didn't have time to do this with me. That would bum me
Yeah,
out.
so when it's meant to be, it'll happen. We'll leave it at that.
I will say, your new space, and I don't know how much you want to talk about that on the air, but your new space that you will be occupying soon has several places that I went nuts about thinking like, oh my God, I could do something so cool. You could do something so cool, but like I could help you do
You
something
guys could
so
do it too.
cool
Yeah.
in a few of those little environments, and I just can't wait to see what you do end up doing.
Yeah, we'll save that for another episode. I'll talk in
Fantastic.
a little bit. We're there every day.
All right.
It's amazing how quick time flies there. I spent 3-4 hours there today. We moved a desk in for Hannah. She's vibing it.
Oh,
It's
so
got a-
she's seeing how to be to work there.
Yeah, we've set up the writing room environment. There's just a lot of really inspiring spaces there, environments that I know are going to be great for creativity. And the building already, it's 1925. It's already 100 years, almost 100 years old. We're feeling good about it. Time flies when we're there. It's a new project. I like projects when it comes to architecture and building. I've done a few of them. The warehouse, at one time I had a former Mason's Lodge in East LA that was built the same year, 1925. So I like the process, whether it's cars, property, buildings, whatever it may be. I like the project of putting my own personality onto things. I was talking to someone the other day, I said, for me, the car is like a blank canvas of my expression, and I can put my individuality onto the canvas, which is the car. And I think in a way, buildings offer the same opportunity to sort of create your own vibe and add to what's already there. So, yeah, we're super excited about it.
And we'll talk about it some other time.
I don't want to get too deep into that yet.
No,
because,
you went. Let's move on. That was great. That was freaking
to
awesome.
dwell on it for a minute, I've lived in downtown since 1994. I don't think I'm moving out of downtown until 2022. And I'm not really into numbers. When it's ready, it's going to be that way. And it was the same way when I bought the building in the Arts District. I'd lived in a loft before, and I didn't move into the building till it was ready, because I don't want to live through construction when you're there. I'm fortunate in the sense that Hannah and I, there's no deadline on we have to be out of the other place that we own, and so that gives us the freedom to take a little bit of time. We haven't lifted any hammers yet. We're vibing out the space, trying to figure what goes where. We're going to remodel a few things, and it's not something you want to rush into.
Did you ever see that movie, The Money Pit, from the 80s?
Yeah,
Tom Hanks and something.
Yeah, this will be a slippery slope like that.
Well, no, I was going to say, but that, if anybody who's ever seen that movie, you just can't live in your house when you're trying to do that shit. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't
not
work.
At all.
But real quick, before we get to next big thing, we probably should talk about
Sneaker
this
pimps.
stuff since we're here.
That's how they come out of the box if you want them distressed. That's how they end up distressing.
It's pretty amazing. How has this been for you?
Well, it's been overwhelming. I could show you, on my phone, on, the old IG, there's hundreds of postings of people that either got them or didn't get them. I mean, this was a journey that started in 2018 with my buddy Pelly Steve, who at the time was in charge of Nike SB. He reached out with hey, what do you think about doing a sneaker collab? But I should backdate the story, because there's an interesting story behind the shoe. When Tamir Moscovici's trailer for Urban Outlaw came out in June of 2012, everything always goes back to Tamir. If you're tuning in, Tamir's film Urban Outlaw sort of opened up my horizon, and I suppose put some exposure on me and shine the spotlight on me.
It helped the rest of us get to know you.
Yeah, so we shot the film in February 2012, and it's amazing that soon it'll be 10 years. And in June of that year, we put a trailer out. And it sort of went viral. We didn't know if 500 people were going to watch this or 5 million. But this trailer came out, and it got picked up by Top Gear the first day and sort of went viral. Within a couple of days, I had an email from this guy, Sandy Bodecker, who was in charge of Nike Action Sports SB. And he reached out and said he was a Porsche fan. He'd seen the trailer to Urban Outlaw. And, could we talk about hosting a Nike Design Summit at the Loft in downtown LA? And I said, sure, no problem. He goes, I'd like to sort of host a 2-day seminar with our merchandisers, our designers, and we're planning for the year ahead. And I'd like you to be involved and give us the tour from an inspirational point of view. And by the way, can we see a rough cut of the film? I go, well, the film's not even ready yet. Let me get a hold of Tamir. Long story short, Tamir threw together a really quick rough cut. Nike flew him down from Toronto. They hired the Soho House, and we screened the first rough cut of Urban Outlaw 4 months before it came out to about 30 people from Nike at the Soho House. And we're like, wow, something's going on here. Like, where's the connection between the film and Nike? And I suppose it was just doing your own thing, thinking outside the box, and passion was the theme that ran through that. And Sandy said, if you ever need anything, just let us know. We like what you're doing. And then I never really thought about Nike for a couple of years. But I have to back up even further, because as a kid, I was a cross-country runner, and I ran in Nike waffles. And this was in the late 70s. So I'd sort of had this Nike connection, but wasn't really wearing Nike. I was in my Doc Martin phase. And then, unfortunately, Sandy passed away in 2018. We went up there for his memorial, met Pelly, met the whole team. They're all into cars. We did some driving. And that was the catalyst for the shoe. But it took almost 2.5 years from that point to the shoe coming out. So this is a very long-winded answer to your question.
I'm so
as
happy
to how did the
because
shoe
people don't
come out.
realize what was involved in the backstory. They think, oh yeah, they called you 6 months ago, and boom, here we go.
Yeah. Well, when Pelly first approached me, I said, I don't skate. He goes, doesn't matter. One of our pro skaters, he's a Porsche guy, a Shod Ware. I think you two would get along. And that was the first conversation. And with Nike, it's such a big corporation. Didn't hear from them for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. I'd be still in contact with Pelly. Is the shoe still happening? Yeah, it's still happening. We got to push back. And then finally he said, you guys should probably meet, myself and Ashad. And that happened right before COVID last year. Like, I met him on March 3rd or March 8th last year. A week later, went to New York, arrived in New York like March 11th. On our way to England, and then the whole world shut down. We came back to LA, And ironically, I did a sketch for the first outline of the shoe, and I dated it March 25th, 2020. And I only ever did 2 sketches. And Pelly said essentially, just do whatever you want and we'll kind of scale it back. Well, the shoe didn't really scale back drastically. We went through a few different samples, changed a few things. But my whole thing was sort of bringing the punk rock elements like the tartan interior, and the goal was that the shoe will fade like the car does to its original gold, which is underneath the white dye leather paint that you see there. But the shoe didn't really change too much. So for me, this was something that was, I'd never thought about doing a shoe with Nike. It's like, how did that happen? It happened purely organically. But it's just been, I knew it was going to be big, and I knew a lot of the people that were into the shoe probably wouldn't know who I was or what my story was. So it opened up to a broader audience. Yesterday, Ashad and I ended up doing an interview with GQ. It's going to be like a 8-page fashion spread, because I think it was unexpected, the collaboration of the two of us together, based around, you know, obviously a common bond of adventure, skating. You know, it's an adventure, it's a free flow, freedom thing, you know, the connection with the cars, and then me bringing in my sort of aesthetics into the shoe. And then, of course, the shoe dropped, as the kids call it, and it sold out in about 5 minutes. And then, of course, you know, there's a lot of people that are disappointed that didn't get the shoe.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, it's not like Nike gave me thousands of shoes. I actually don't physically know how many pairs Nike made.
Right.
They won't tell me.
Right.
How many pairs were domestic, how many pairs were international. The release was delayed. You know, certain parts of the world got it before we did. The shoes was available in certain sneaker stores. And then, of course, the infamous sneakers app, where it's like a raffle, and I didn't know anything about this, you know.
The
just figured
resale market.
Yeah, well, not even that. Like, to buy it through Nike's sneaker app, you had to go online, submit, you know, your
Oh,
request.
yeah, it's a lottery in its own self, right?
You know, and it might have been hypothetically there's 5,000 shoes there, but 100,000 people wanted them. So the interesting thing for me is I had so many people come out of the woodwork that met me once who, you know, want a favor for a friend of a friend who's a big sneakerhead, and he lives in Timbuktu.
Buddy,
Can I get him a pair?
You could be set up with weed for life if you could deliver 2 pairs of these things to your friends at Tradecraft down there. My
you go.
God, those
There you
guys.
go.
I can't. I told you the week it happened. I told you every correspondence we had. I said people are hitting me up left and right. I'm telling everybody because I know I've been down here. I'm not asking you, but I know everybody I know at least hinted at it.
Yeah.
At least hinted at it. Most people said, "Are you going to get them? What do you know? How's that going to go?" And if you get them, can I get them? And then a lot of people were really ballsy and said, "Well, do you know Magnus well enough, or are you comfortable enough to?" And I just, when you were here last, I think it was on the
IG
Instagram.
Live. Yeah.
But I told you that we were thinking that you might be underestimating this.
Yeah.
Do you feel that we might have been right, or do
You probably were right, because, you know, I don't want to pull out my phone and show you, but if you go on the DMs on the gram, it's 80% sneakers, you know, and everyone's doing some, you know, they're either pissed off that they didn't get them, they're super happy that they got them, they're doing a raffle, or they're doing something creative.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, you know, people are talking about it, people are engaged still to today. You know, so for me, this thing's got some legs. I'm already working on, hey, I've got a few other cars that are going to look great on a sneaker.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm already sort of thinking forward from it. But, you know, to sort of reiterate, Nike gave me a few pairs, not many in the big picture. And I've probably had at least 50 times more requests for the limited availability of shoes that I have myself. And then, of course, people thought, you know, they're coming out of the box, you know, really aged like this. And I just accelerated the aging process of mine. But they're coming out of the box that way. And the sneaker world's a little bit like the Star Wars world, that people are super fanatical about them. Like, some people are like, I'm not even going to wear them. I go, well, they're built to be worn in distress, right? You know, this is not like some holy grail thing.
I knew the moment these came with all the different colors of laces, and I knew that the moment I untangled all those laces, it was like driving your car off the lot. You know, I was, boom, there it goes. There goes the dollar value on these suckers. Good thing I'm planning on wearing them.
Built to be worn.
I wasn't planning on bending it the way you were, though, so I am going to need another pair.
Yeah, you got to bend them up. Come
I'm going
on.
to need another pair.
You got to get them real supple, because now mine are super, super comfy.
Can I go one further? I haven't had this style of shoe since they were making them this way with these materials. Like, it's been a long time. I've been a Converse guy. These are wicked comfortable, and Nike is hitting their mark with what they're doing here, in that I may go buy some more
There
Nike
you go.
shoes because of this.
There you go.
These are wicked comfortable. They're also super light. Everybody who sees them, the impression when you see a picture is that they're kind of old school sneakers, which
Clunky.
implies heavy,
Yeah.
sweaty.
Yeah.
These are neither nor. All the modern materials, just with that classic look, and I am super excited for mine.
Yeah, they came out
and I'm
super
really
well.
grateful.
Well, I'm glad you like it. It's the first time in quite some time Nike had done a dunk with canvas and leather, and it's a deconstruction one, meaning it doesn't have a ton of padding. They're not super bulky, and they're super pliable. To me, things have to be comfortable, right?
Yeah.
You know, to wear it all day long. You know, I'm still averaging over 10,000 steps a day in these. So, you know, they're actually pretty comfortable to do the steps in.
I just had never seen the combination of materials and stuff, and it's super cool.
Right, it came out pretty good.
Yeah. So well done, well
fun
done.
project, glad you like them. On to the next.
Yes, but speaking of that, though, I mean, I
are we
know that you
speaking
have other. On the shoes. I know that you do have other ideas. Is there a possibility of maybe more releases in the future, or is that kind of a pipe dream for the sneakerheads
No,
out there?
I don't think it's a pipe dream. You know, those of you that know what cars I have, you know, I've got a few art cars that would lend themselves really well to, you know, to a livery that's inspired by the car on a shoe. Would be awesome to keep going with Nike SB or even possibly Jordan, because similar silhouette. So for me, it was a fun project. People seem to like it. I enjoy these creative projects. I'm sort of thinking I want to get back into the fashion world. You know, this is a sort of a way in. The GQ thing was something like out of left field. You know, I'm pulling
How'd
my
that
Blue
feel?
Steel Zoolander. It felt good.
Well, you're like
It was-
Mr. Ralph Lauren with the other stuff, so
Double
like
RL.
GQ must have been like right on brand for what
It's
you're.
kind of back in my wheelhouse, you know, from the clothing days that I started on the boardwalk in Venice in the late 80s. You know, I had at least a 20-year run in the clothing industry. So for me, it was not unusual to do that. It was inspiring to be doing something that was car-related but wasn't all about cars, right? You know, it was a great collaboration, and hopefully the story comes out pretty good. It was fun. The photos looked good, and I just enjoying things that keep my juices flowing, you know, from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
Whether it's design cars, buildings, remodeling houses, whatever it may be.
Where did you do your shoot for that? Did they come to you, or did you go to a studio?
They
or
came
something?
to the warehouse, you know,
cool.
and then, of course, I had to go in the LA River, so we had both cars in the LA River.
Cool.
So that's, you know, one of my new favorite go-to spots.
Speaking of which, you posted a picture yesterday of an old truck in the LA River with all the birds and everything. Man, or it might even been today. Man, that was
Yesterday.
a cool photo.
Yeah.
What was that about? Was that?
We'd just done the shoot with GQ. It was around
Oh,
5 o'clock.
that's what you were doing?
Yeah, we were in the river. Shot and I, 2 photographers. We're doing this shoot for GQ, 2 cars in the LA River, and then I'm literally on my way out, driving up towards the ramp to get out. That truck comes, so I stop. I get out the camera, of course, straight away, and I'm trying to zoom in on him. He's probably 200 yards ahead, but all of a sudden the birds lift, and I'm like, click, 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 click. Hope it's in focus on the iPhone. It was just one of those moments, and to me, that's what's great about LA. Those moments just naturally occur.
Pop up.
They just pop up. And like people are always like, how do you get in the river? Do you need a permit? I go, just drive in there. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Just go do it. And obviously I'm not the only person who's doing that, because I've seen some cool stuff in there. You know, I'm not just talking about Grease, you know, from back in the 70s, or Gone in 60 Seconds, Batman,
that's
Terminator,
a good one. Yeah,
whatever's
yeah.
shot in
Terminator.
the LA River, right? Still to this day, people are just cruising down there, or they're shooting content, or they're doing a video, or they're doing what I'm doing. So to me, it's like not far from where I am. It looks iconic, and occasionally something just comes at you. You get out your camera, your phone, whatever it is, and the birds lift. I'm like, oh, what a cool shot.
That's awesome.
So that was it. That was yesterday at 5 o'clock in the river.
That's the coolest.
Yeah, LA story.
The reason you're here is the next big thing.
No, I'm here
2.
to see Stig. You know, make sure the Stigler is working. I'm here to soak up the aura of Jay, who was here yesterday.
That's
so,
right.
you know, that's why I'm here. It's fun being here. I mean, you said, do you want to do it IG Live? I go, no, nothing beats the studio. Like, like we've done a few of these things on the IG Live. It's not the same as face-to-face with all this stuff around. Like, you know, I'm in New York here, right? So
Well, it's everything, right?
Yeah.
We blend into the beautiful
Yeah, yeah.
downtown Burbank.
Yeah, I see that.
You were one of the first guests here when we kind of had, this stuff was here, but like party lights and, just kind of, this was an idea. This was just an idea.
The ideas
And
evolve.
And you and Hannah, you were both so generous with your time and your energy. And and quite frankly, you were very supportive of what we were doing, calling it a creative space and liking what we were up to and stuff. You mentioned before about you can't really get to greatness from good enough.
Right.
And how do you feel about this? Are we on our way?
I mean, you guys are on your way. I don't know. You got almost a dozen cameras and iPhones and iPads. I mean, I'm up to number 5 there. I mean, what is it, like
total.
an 8-camera setup?
7
here?
total.
Yeah, I mean,
with the
this
Instagram audience.
This is greatness right here. We're on the gram. We're on the YouTube. I mean, I got to say, once again, congrats on getting Jay here. I mean,
is that a bigger deal than I'm giving it credit for? Because
yes
I
and
feel...
no. In the sense of Jay is super approachable. Like, I met him for the first time probably in the 90s, 25 years ago, in Woodley Park, Van Nuys, at a British car show. And it was literally like probably 94, 95. So he's always been approachable. But it's amazing how not too long ago, Hannah was doing something for Bloomberg and she got Jay on. And they were amazed that she could get Jay on. So, in a sense, we see him and he's just a regular guy. And that's the greatest thing about him is he's approachable, he's knowledgeable, he has the time, he's never standoffish. So from that point of view, it seemed completely natural that he would do it. But from the other point of view, to certain people are going to go, this is a big deal. You had Leno on your show, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Came to your house.
He came to your house.
He's been in your dining room.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You didn't even meet him on the street. You buzzed him up and he found his way here.
He did.
It's a big deal, so congrats on that. It's almost as big a deal as having the Stiglet here. It's not quite that big, but it's big.
The Stiglet's going places.
The Stiglet's going places.
The future.
The future's right there. The future's right there. You know it. Your mama did good.
Well, now that that's out of the way, secondly, you came here to talk about the next big thing.
Yeah. The next big thing, season 2. It suddenly occurred to me that it's premiering on Friday. Like this time around season 2, season 1 happened really quickly. It was an idea in October. And then Haggerty told me, we don't have any more money, we can't do it. And then 2 weeks later, they called me back, said, yeah, we can do it. 2 weeks later, we were shooting. We shot it in December. And then it aired in January. It was only 6 episodes. And it ended like middle of February.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we're going to do season 2. I go, okay, I'm ready to go. We're on this momentum, this roll. They go, well, it's going to be third quarter. I go, third quarter? That's like, 4 months away. So we had all this time in the world to prepare for it. And this time around, season 2 ended up being 10 episodes.
Oh,
so that was good. And I shot 5 of them on the East Coast. The first one was in Boston. And then I shot the other 4 in and around New York City, Jersey, tri-state area.
Beautiful.
And then 5 episodes in L.A. But the New York ones we shot back in, I guess we shot them in May, almost 2 months ago. Took 2 weeks off and then shot the L.A. one sort of end of May, beginning of June. And now we're in the final edit stage and doing a little bit of voiceover. So we had all this time to sort of prepare, and then it seems like time is flying, right? We're already in summer.
Yeah.
It's just flying through.
Everything my parents and grandparents said is true.
The older you get, the quicker it goes.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm like, the show's out on Friday. I got to, sort of start preparing for that. So I'm super excited about it. Season 1 is Friday, and we're shooting this Mercedes 1984 Mercedes 500 SEC AMG. That wasn't the car I'd originally planned to shoot. I was planning to shoot an Aston Martin Lagonda, and we had 2 of them, and everyone goes, you're never going to find one that runs. I go, what are you on about?
So we'll get a spare.
Yeah, we got a spare. We got 2 that runs, right? How bad can this be? And I had this whole vision of like British supercars that never really reached the peak. So I was doing 2 British supercars as the next big thing. An Aston Martin Lagonda and a Jag XJ220. And I had both of them lined up. And literally like 2 days before we're supposed to shoot, both of them went away. Like the Jag wasn't ready, and the Aston Martin Lagonda, of course, wasn't running, or wasn't running enough where we could drive it around the block. So the Mercedes stepped in to be the hero, and that's the opening episode of the show. And then we're going to flip-flop from a New York episode to an LA episode.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
So it's not all like, here's 5 on the East Coast and here's 5 on the West Coast.
I find it hard to believe that an XJ220 is really qualifies to be the next big thing. I mean, that was a big thing when it came out. It's never really not been a big thing. There's only so many of them.
Yeah,
And it's like saying, and the Ferrari Enzo is going to come up too one of these days.
You know, the next big thing is not the next big budget thing. Anything can be the next big thing. And of course, it's
okay.
just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's...
So the next thing people are going to talk about, the next hot ticket.
Yeah, these are all about, you know, obviously the Lagonda, the Jag XG220, my buddy got one, Mr. Enthusiast, and I'm just like, I want to drive it. So,
yeah.
hey, let's throw it out there. You don't really see him that much. You never see him on the road because they're probably not that reliable either because my buddy's wasn't ready, and he bought it as a running, driving car, but of course...
Was it right before the Ford years? Yeah, I think so. I think it was.
Well, you know, first of all, that car was coming out with a 12-cylinder engine, then it ended up being a 6-cylinder
Yeah,
engine. Everyone
yeah.
knows that story. And my buddy was like a running, driving car. It just needed some basic maintenance and hoses and tires. Well, apparently the tires aren't available. He had to ship them in from England. He's got the one.
Oh, it's got those custom wheels. That's
yeah,
right.
so
Yeah,
all of a sudden, you know,
yeah.
like that wasn't available. But you know, the next big thing is not the next big budget thing. It's just a lot of it is cars that I actually want to possibly own or at least drive. And I always say you don't have to own them to experience them.
True,
So, you know,
yeah.
it's a combination of probably 75% of the cars on season 2 I sort of tracked down, you know, found the owners or knew the owners. So it's everything from a Gen 1 Boxster, which is still a sub $10,000 car.
Awesome.
You can pick them up for $5,000.
Until your skateboard buddies get a load of that.
yeah.
Now forget it. No Boxsters available in this country.
You know what I always say, you know, if there's something you're thinking about buying like this, just go buy it right. Don't wait until it's no longer affordable. But like, for example, a Gen 1 Boxster, it's 25 years old now. So that is
Oh, God,
potentially
I'm so
the next
old.
big thing, right?
I remember. Oh God, damn. 25 years old.
25 years old. So episode 1 is a Mercedes
That's
in and
what
around
Stiglet
New York.
drives, by the way.
A Boxster, I know. Well,
A Gen 1 Boxster.
back to the Boxster story, sort of how I met the Stiglet was his mum was in contention to be on the show. You know, I wanted specifically...
because I know who you did choose.
Yeah.
She was going to be one of them. Okay.
So I specifically requested, hey, we need a female owner of a car on this. You know, we had one before on season 1 with the Jag XJS. You know, so female Boxster owner will tell a great story. The Stiglet learned to drive in the Boxster, right?
That's correct.
So it was between the Stiglet and his mum and this other person who turned out to be a PCA driving instructor. So I shot with her, which turned out to be a really, really great episode. So to me, it's all about cars that are slightly unloved, possibly under the radar, possibly upcoming. You know, the second episode is 2 Ferraris. Obviously, everyone knows what Ferraris are, but for me, like season 1, I had the Ferrari.
Does everyone?
I think everyone knows what a prancing pony is, a Tifosi. But I'm still torn between, I kind of want a 308 GT4, or I want a 355, or I want a 360.
Yes.
So season 2 is like 355 and 360. One's like the end of the wedgie era, the 355, and the 360s, the beginning of the modern era Ferrari swoopy design. So I got to do those back to back. They're basically within about 10 grand of each other.
Yeah.
You know, so they're still somewhat affordable. So that's episode 2. Episode 3 is the M Coupe Clown Shoe. You know, another car that's sort of, obviously, the fanboys know what that is.
Yeah.
But it's still slightly under the radar. Episode number 4 is I go visit Steve Saleen and drive his Fox Body Mustang.
Oh, good
which
grief,
is
that's
an
interesting.
unloved Mustang to certain people, even though the Fox Body bros will go, dude, what are you on about? That's always been cool, right?
That's a pretty cool experience, though, to go to Steve Saleen's and drive his.
Yeah.
His
I'd
personal.
done an IG Live with him last year and turned out to be a cool guy down in Irvine, somewhere near there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I
By
toured
the OC airport, I think.
Yeah. So I toured the whole facility and then drove one of their cars in the Crest. And he's a fascinating guy, you know, from a race background and everything that, you know, his involvement in the Ford GT program. And he's really just a cool guy. So that's episode 4. Episode 5, I go back to New York and drive a couple of cars I've always liked, and one that I owned, a Saab 900 SBG Turbo.
That's my favorite. What year?
I think, was it 88? No, mine
Oh,
was
that's
88.
towards the end of it. Yeah, that's
end of
cool.
the run in Talladega Red. And of course,
Oh, whoa.
I got to
Is
stop.
the cladding still gray?
Yeah, cladding's still
Cool.
great. I got to stop by IKEA, right? Because, you know, I can't talk about, you know, Swedish cars, Volvo and Saab without talking about IKEA. So I got a little skit where I go to IKEA in Red
Get
Hook.
some Swedish meatballs,
I
do
get
the
some
whole
Swedish
thing.
meatballs,
Yeah.
and I get a barbecue, and then I end
So
up
wait,
at-
you were in New York for this one? So you went to IKEA in Jersey, I'm guessing.
No, there's an IKEA in Red Hook. In
Oh,
Brooklyn.
there is one in Red Hook.
Right
yeah.
there where the
Yeah.
ferry
Yeah.
is, near Sonny's Bar. So
right.
I go on a little errand run. I drive from Gowanus down to IKEA at Red Hook and pick up some meatballs. And then I drive back to Williamsburg, of course, where all the hipsters
Brooklyn.
are.
Brooklyn in the
So
house.
Brooklyn, right? And I fire up this little barbecue with the Manhattan skyline there at the drive-in theater, and I'm grilling Swedish meatballs sort of out of the hatch on a barbecue grill set on an oil drum, looking at Manhattan with the sun going down. So that's episode number 5.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so for me, it was
I can't
like,
wait.
Yeah, that's a really, really cool episode. You know, we start off in Brooklyn. There's a cool vibe going there. So
Always.
a lot of these are not so much the deep dive, all the technical info and specs on the car. It's more sort of the feel and the vibe of what the car delivers in a certain environment. You know, it's not like how fast is this car going to 0 to 60, and it's not a deep dive into it. It's more of like a lifestyle look at owners, their stories, and, you know, why is Mark from Zurich Classic Motors attracted to Saabs, right? And why does he call his Saab Motors company Zurich when obviously Zurich's in Switzerland, and, you know, it could have been, you know, Stockholm Classic Motors or whatever it might have been, right?
And
So-
we're,
but
and
there's
we're
a whole
gonna
story
find out
behind
the
that.
backstory.
Yeah, you got to tune into episode 5 for the Swedish meatball story in a Saab 900 SPG Turbo.
Oh man.
So that's kind of how.
Did
it
you
is.
drive a Volvo as well, or did you just bring that up because? Oh, correct. Somebody-
No, let me tell you the Volvo story, because one of the cars I was really pushing for on the show was Irv Griffin's 3.2 million mile
Merv Griffin.
Irv.
Okay.
Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin.
I know
is-
Merv Griffin.
Yeah. Irv Griffin was a new. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2018. I met
Merv's
him. In,
dead too.
I met him in 2014, and his story's awesome. He was a school teacher, commuted about 100 miles a day. He bought a 1967 Volvo P1800.
Oh my god.
He's the original owner of the car.
red one, right?
Red one. It's gone through, depending on which story you listen to, 2 or 4 engine rebuilds, but still the original motor, rebuilt once. I met Irv back in 2014 where Volvo started documenting high mileage cars through the dealership warranty books. And he always had his car serviced at the dealership. And by the early 70s, he'd done over 250,000 miles. So it was documented over the past 40, 50 years, reached a 1 million mile mark. And then he sort of became a Volvo brand ambassador, because talk about a great endorsement for a car. One owner, Guinness Book of World Records, highest mileage, non-commercial, privately owned car.
It's amazing.
So when I met him, he was doing some promo in LA for Volvo. So unfortunately, he passed away, and I said, I really want to drive this car. And the car is now owned by Volvo itself. They realized the significance of the car. They ended up acquiring the car from his family, and I ended up driving the car with his mechanic. The mechanic said I was the first person that had driven the car since Irv had passed away. So for me, it was like this full circle thing where
crap.
it was actually a pretty emotional shoot.
I was gonna say there's a lot of heartstrings
I'd
going
met the
on
guy,
here.
yeah. He literally was filming on my street in downtown LA. And I just went out there, and like, he was just such a cool guy. And then I heard he passed away. It was kind of a sad story, obviously. And everyone I've ever met from him said he was just such a cool guy. And people know the car. Like, I was driving that car somewhere in Jersey. It was raining that day. I remember the crew was all upset. I go, this is going to make it even better. It's going to look more cinematic
agreed.
in the rain with the wipers going and water coming up and everything. And I remember at one point we were setting up cameras, and this journalist pulled in who was driving some Jag E-Pace or something. And he said, is that Irv's car? I said, yeah. So people know
They
him.
recognize him.
Yeah, they recognize him. And that's what was one of my favorite episodes that we shot. So that's in there. And then my buddy Phil, Mr. Enthusiast, he bought a Maserati Shamal and a Ford Escort Cozzy. So that's one of the episodes. And then I end it with the MP Baja Bug out in Boston. So it's kind of
Oh,
covering a lot
man.
of bases, from, you know, a Ferrari to a Baja Bug to a 25-year-old Gen 1 Boxster to a
This
3
is-
million mile Volvo.
This one is a really eclectic group.
Yeah, it's a
That's
pretty
cool.
eclectic group. And of course, our buddy, I cannot talk about the show and not talk about Paul Kramer.
gonna say, I didn't hear
and
that
the
one in
Isuzu
there. I didn't
Impulse.
hear it in there.
Well, it's in there right now. I'm saving the best for last. You know, his quirky 80s Isuzu Impulse. He's going to be like episode number 9, I think, where we drive to the Good Vibes Breakfast Club, as you know.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
you know,
oh, that was fun. I forgot
That
you
whole
did
story
that.
was, hey, I want to show a little bit about my lifestyle, California culture. One of the favorite things I love doing is obviously Friday morning, drive up to Newcomb's, Good Vibes Breakfast Club. So I'm like, we got to show a little bit about that. I'll meet Paul at the bottom. And then Paul went on this 25-minute monologue ramble. And I realized, hey, we're going to have to cut this back because the show's only 10 minutes. But I just asked him a couple of questions, and he rambled. And I said, I'm not going to stop him because somewhere in here, there's going to be some gold. You know, he got the matching watch on that day, and he was just in love with that car, which is mint. So, yeah, it's that's going to be... I think there's something for everyone in Season 2. You know, there's some high-end cars, there's some low-end cars, there's some quirky cars. There's a Class 11 Baja Bug that I drive off-road. So hopefully there's something for everyone.
I like that you brought the Isuzu Impulse, like the quirkiest car in the world, to like the quirkiest group of people in the world up at the Good Vibes Breakfast Club.
All are welcome,
match.
right?
We have a match.
All are welcome.
All are welcome.
You know, and Paul's such a cool guy. So, you know, it was just... When he first got that car, however, 6 months ago, I'm like, this has to be in Season 2. So
Really?
Yeah.
Because it was funny? Because you actually liked it? Because
it
you
was
wanted to put Paul
I-
on TV? Like, what
I
was the...
No, I was interested in the car. I didn't know much about the car. The car's unique. It stands out in a sea of paint-to-sample GT3 RSs that love to turn up at the Good Vibes Breakfast
That's
Club.
true.
And then
That's
before you
true.
know it, there's half a dozen of them, right? And they all look the same. And then Paul shows up in the Impulse, and he's the only one, right?
Only one
And
for
everyone's looking
miles.
at that because it's mint. So for me, it's eclectic, and I was interested in it.
Yeah.
Has nothing really to do with, yet again, how fast it is. It's just that's a very unique car that stands out at a Cars and Coffee.
What it was for me on that particular one with him is, you know, it's implied that that would be an impulse buy.
Yeah.
He was looking for
That
one of
was
those
not an
things
impulse
for
buy.
a long time, and he got the good, clean one because he found it and paid for it, you know?
Right.
He really wanted that car, and I don't know if he'll have it forever or not, but he really loves it.
Yeah, and he got a
Loves
great
it.
example, but that's part of the journey. It's like back to the Ferrari 355. It's owned by Coco that owns this high-tech automotive in
Oh, I
Silver
love
Lake.
it. Yeah, Coco's great.
And he'd been looking for one for 25 years. You know, he fell in love with it when it came out in whatever year it was, I guess 98. I'm probably saying the wrong year, but it's late 90s. So he'd been
It
looking
was
at,
in The Rock, right? So that was 95, so somewhere mid-90s
I
probably.
think it came out in 95, so yeah, it's 25, 26 years old. And he saw it at the LA Auto Show. He was
That
there
was
with
it,
his
me
dad.
too, yeah.
I remember the whole story. I go, what took you so long to find one? He goes, I couldn't find the right one. I didn't want a red one. I wanted one that was manual. I didn't want the, you know,
The F1,
paddle
don't
shift
want
one,
that,
F1. Didn't want that. So, you know, sometimes it takes a long time to find a certain car, and other times, like, a car will find you tomorrow that you weren't looking for.
It's the truth. When that 355 came out, I thought it was the best looking Ferrari in ages. I always liked the 348, even though I've always
Yeah, me
heard that
too.
was not the best Ferrari to own. I always thought the looks of it were killer.
It's like a baby Testarossa. The 348.
Exactly, but again, all the good parts and none
Right.
of the bad. And this felt like a shaved version, even more so,
Right.
just even a little better. And then I never liked Ferrari until maybe recently. I never liked, from what you talked about, the 360 Modena swoopiness. Basically, with the moment they got rid of the grill badge and all of the bright work and everything, I was kind of like, what happened to Ferrari? And
The
I can't
interesting-
wait to watch that episode
Well, the
where you
interesting
compare
thing
the
about
two.
having those two cars back to back is one, the 355 is the end of that era, like I said earlier, but they're only a couple of years apart, even though they're probably 10 years apart in development.
Right,
You know,
technologically.
yeah, when they came out in 95 and the other one ended, they're only like, you know, a year apart,
For
but
sure.
they look so different. And the 360 is a bigger car. When you put them side by side, it's a bigger car.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It looks like an air-cooled and a 996 next to
Yeah.
each other, and that's the comparison it sort of feels like as well to me.
And on paper, there's not a lot of difference between them. The weight's similar. The 360, maybe it's got 25 more horsepower, but you feel it when you drive it. But for me, at the end, it was like, I still go back to the 355. Looks better. If only I could transplant all the 360 mechanicals
Yeah.
into the 355, which I'm
And the
sure.
reliability, right?
Yeah. Well, here's back to the reliability. You can't have a conversation with a 355 without someone talking about, well, you know, to do a timing belt
worst
service,
one. It's the
you got to
worst
take
one.
the engine out. And I go, well, yeah, that is true, but I think the scenario is this. People buy that car, they don't drive it, they stick it in the garage, it's got no miles on it, deferred maintenance. Then they sell it. The next person that buys it on has to deal with all that deferred maintenance
Facts.
because it hasn't been driven.
Facts.
Then the motor has to come out. The people that I've spoken to that actually own them and drive them say it's like any car, right? You need to drive them to make them reliable. The fluids need to flow through. It's a lifeline, the blood of the car. We all get that. But I think Ferraris suffer from, they don't get driven like Porsches get driven. So low
miles.
mileage ones, things crack, seize up. Then you got to do the engine out. Ferrari solved that problem with the 360. Finally, like, oh, why do we have to take the engine out? We'll just take this, you know, cover off and we can access it through behind the seats. So they solved that problem, but yet still,
Such a good point.
I think just any car needs to be driven, right?
I always said that about the 996s. I guess 997s too. But whenever the IMS worry was going on 10 years ago or whatever, it was like that sounded so to me reminiscent of all of the Italian, British, earlier German cars. In the old days, like, oh, if you don't drive it, nothing's getting used, nothing's getting lubricated, nothing's getting exercised.
Right.
And then, of course, it's going to fall apart. And it seemed to be then later in life, it sort of found out, oh, well, it was the 996s that weren't getting driven. They were sitting, and then someone would go beat the piss out of it. And then, so I feel like maybe that's just anything in general, anything mechanical in general.
Sure. That was like me Friday when I drove my 96A up to Newcomb's, that 92 one, the black one.
What happened? I thought that was fine.
I've driven it in about 4 months. I'm like, I just want to go drive it because the car's set up pretty nice. I had Stable Energy set it up because that was my New York car. I bought it on eBay in New Jersey, and I parked it on the street in the East Village when I was spending all my time in New York. And then I shipped it out to LA, and I seldom drive it. But it's a great driving car. Out of all the front-engine, water-cooled, transaxle Porsches, that's the one, other than the 928. So anyway, I'm driving it, and I push it more. I'm really in the zone. I'm in the zone. I'm like carrying a lot of speed. I got up there relatively quick. I got up there a little after 8 o'clock. I'm the fourth guy there. I park it. I let the engine run for a little bit. I get out, take a walk around, which I always do. And I see this little coolant leak. It's little. I look at it, I go, okay, I'm walking away from it. Straight away, someone comes up to me, tells me, hey, your car's leaking fluid. And then before you know it, there's like 4 people telling me my car's leaking fluid, and yes, I know it.
Everyone's panicked.
Yeah, and the fluid got pretty big.
Hey, does Magnus know? Because I could tell him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even though people saw me looking at it, so they knew I'd seen it, but they still got to tell me, hey, the car wasn't overheating. But when it got there, the radiator purged some fluid. So I was there about...
Oh, the overflow. The 944s did that too, that kind of overflow thing.
I was there about an hour and a half, and I put some water in it. I spoke to Paul Kramer when he showed up in his 944.
His did it. That's why I said that. His did it too recently.
His did it, but his was air conditioning fluid. Mine was coolant from the radiator. So anyway, I go, well, this could be iffy. The crowd's there. Everyone's like a hack mechanic going to tell you what's wrong with your car. Right? And I go, I don't want to be, I don't want to be going down on a flatbed from the Breakfast Club. So I waited. I put some water in, went back, started up first time, and then I just drove it back, no issue. But that was kind of a sign to me as the problem sometimes when you have too many cars. It's not always easy to keep them all exercised at the same time. But I made it back to downtown, no issues. So
I'm just laughing at the behind the scenes. It reminds me of the movie Airplane. And I was like, that's funny. Magnus doesn't usually stay this long at Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the car.
That's funny. He doesn't usually hang out for 6 hours.
That is such a funny way to look at that whole thing.
I'm always looking at temperature gauges. On that car, it got up to like almost 3/4 in traffic on the 5 trying to get to the 2. Then the fan kicked in, it came back down. It never got above halfway there. So it didn't overheat. It didn't run hot. It was just purging through. But of course, there's that feeling of, I don't want to be the guy that's calling a flatbed up to Newcomb.
35 miles up a mountain road.
Well, yeah, first of all, your phone doesn't work up there, right? So you got to wait for someone to go back down and then call it up to you. And I did that for someone once. Once I was in the Crest, and this kid had broke. It was a crazy situation. He was in a Jeep of some sort. And for some reason, his lug nuts were all untied on his wheels. It made no sense. I don't know if the guy was stoned or whatever. But anyway, he was stranded in the Crest. And I ended up driving down the hill, calling AAA. They said they wouldn't go pick him up. I go, you know what? Put it on my card. I've been with AAA for 25 years. No, we can't do that. So I go, let me talk to your supervisor. I said, having been with AAA for 25 years, I've got whatever the plus premium is, blah, blah, blah. I go, this is just not satisfactory service.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter. You should just go rescue this kid. It's getting dark. Right. He's going to be stranded up there. And they ended up getting him. I never saw the kid after.
Well, because you guilted him into it. I mean, there was
you kind of have to, though, right?
Once you made it a liability issue. Look, this is on you, AAA.
I've broken down so many times. Every Jag, including both of the E-Types that I own, my infamous Memorial Day on a Friday afternoon on the 10 freeway at 4 in the afternoon when it was 90 degrees, waiting 2 hours for AAA. I go, so,
That sucks.
Yeah, I've been there so many times. You get to a certain point, like sometimes I'll call them for a tow and they go, we can't tow you there. I go, what are you on about? You can't tow me there. We have to tow you to an independent specialist. I go, no, I need you to tow me to my own place. Yeah. And sometimes you just got to step up and say, I need to talk to a supervisor.
Yeah.
Because if you've been there for 20, 25 years, you're paying for a service that they're not always giving you. Let's leave it that way. So
It's hard these days. It's hard to find good help.
you got the Stigler. What are you on about? Everything comes back to the Stigler.
This is his first day. He's just auditing. He came here on he got a good guest.
Yeah, seems to be doing pretty well. There he is.
Stigler, do you have any comments?
I mean, that's quite the story, gotta say.
Quite the story. How are things going on your show?
Well, we haven't had an episode in 6 months. Let me just say that.
Oh, all right.
Well, we're planning to shoot tomorrow. So if you are subscribed to my channel, I don't know when that's gonna come out. Time flies, and then you only have 24 hours in a day to edit. So it's like.
All right, you don't have a microphone over there. I thought it'd be a little quicker.
Subtitle.
But Stigler's shooting a new episode for his show tomorrow, and your channel is just called the Stiglet. The Stiglet. So check it out.
That's
the Stiglet.
actually, I mean,
the
it's
Stig
pretty
from
genius.
Top Gear, as
Yes.
in Pig and Piglet. I think
Now,
it's adorable.
Stigler, how many official Stigs are they on Top Gear?
Let's see. You had the first guy,
Yeah.
and then you had Ben Collins,
Yeah.
and Michael Schumacher for an episode.
I remember the Michael Schumacher one.
Yeah.
Oh God, I feel like there's one more.
Wasn't there a girl at one point?
I don't know. I don't think there was.
Was there a female Stig?
I thought there was, or maybe it was just a joke. Maybe they dressed Danica Patrick up or
Or
something.
Sabina Schmidt.
Oh, Sabine. It might have been Sabine. Yeah.
True. Because then
Oh,
they
that
have all the
breaks my heart.
variations. So like you Stig's American cousin, Stig's German cousin.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about all that. Yeah.
Is there an Australian Stig or something?
Yeah, of course. And then you have the U.S. version, of course, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there's 3.
How is the U.S. version of Top Gear these days?
Well, we have a friend on it.
Yeah.
And he's been, well, I guess we have a couple friends on it, but Rob Corddry and Dax she's worked
Yeah.
with, and he's been here. And I'm not saying this because he's been here. We really like it.
You like it?
We really like it, but not necessarily because it's the best car show ever. It's just that
Chemistry's good.
the chemistry. It's about the 3 guys.
And you got Jethro, funny Brit that can drive. Hot shoe.
He's fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's worth watching. Obviously, some things you can tell are a little written. Some things are more fun than others, but you can tell that they were finding a groove, and enough that they, like you, they fast tracked a bunch more episodes.
You got to get into the groove. I mean, Madonna was all about that, right?
Donna was
Madonna.
Oh, Madonna!
Pop star from the 80s. Yeah.
She was in that chair dropping
Madonna
F-bombs,
sat in this chair?
dropping F-bombs left and right on
Oh.
Letterman. Yeah, you remember that?
Was that when she got up on the table, or was that
That was
someone
Drew
else?
Barrymore, but still
Oh.
the same chairs and same desk.
Who's been on this table that you're aware of?
Drew Barrymore did the famous
Yeah.
Happy Birthday,
Okay.
and then Mark Pitta, the comedian, recreated it here.
The Drew
Oh, you know
Barrymore
what?
bit.
Courtney Love did it too. Courtney Love recreated it the year later on the desk, like pretending to be.
Have you had
Drew
Courtney on the show? No. I, mean, I think that would be
We're
good.
in our own home here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I mean, I would be open to it because she's Courtney Love,
yeah,
and I
she
mean,
could
I
be
actually
great.
really liked her music. I thought that whole thing was fun, but she's a bit of a train wreck. I don't know how that would work here.
It'd be great.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it.
I think it'd be
Let's
great.
do it.
Were you a whole fan?
Well, that's what I was just
Skin,
saying.
Malibu.
Here's
I
the
mean,
weird thing. I
Do you
wasn't-
sing the song when
I
you go to
wasn't-
Malibu Cars and Coffee? You know, the whole song Malibu?
No.
You don't. You guys don't sing that when you're driving there?
I put the Beach Boys on if we have. We don't even have a radio.
You don't have to. You just, sing along in your head.
Did you like Nirvana? Were you a Nirvana fan?
I was, but I never saw them. Even though I was in LA at that era, I never saw them.
But you liked the music.
I liked the music.
Oh, man, it never spoke to
Really?
me. Yeah, it didn't speak to me. I didn't get
You were too much
whatever
of a
it was.
Backstreet Boy or something?
What the? Yeah, that's me.
What were you listening to that you weren't a Nirvana fan?
Oh, I would humiliate myself if I tell you what kind of music I'm into. I'm
Come on,
into
no
like
one's paying attention on
Bruce
this show. Come on.
Bruce Hornsby. Is like I like stuff like
boy.
that. I'm like into
Kenny G?
deep people. No, not the music. The deepness of it. I like the stuff behind it. So Bob Dylan. Stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm a deeper kind of guy.
You listen to the words, the lyrics.
This is the weirdest. You
I
wanna
never
know-
do.
I can't believe you just brought this up because I've never told that. She's the only person in the world who knows this about me.
Well,
I'm
we have 3 people watching
I'm half
this.
autistic on the on the spectrum for sure, and I have a weird musical ability where I can play any instrument. Give me an instrument and I can play any song I've ever heard. I can just sit down at a piano and start playing. I'm one of those guys.
It
I
is
can just
the
do
one.
it. You're half right. I never ever heard or could register the lyrics of songs because I heard every musical track and my brain heard those and I knew they were singing and the one with whatever and I could kind of like he says something like rah, 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 and it was like the Charlie Brown
Yes.
wah,
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 wah.
wah, wah, wah. Talk bubble.
And then when she got sick and for the first time in my life I started experimenting with medicinal cannabis. I'd never been a weed guy, never been a pot guy. One night I started crying I got so emotional. what I'm trying to get to, all of a sudden I could hear the lyrics of songs, and I started literally.
What was the first song you heard?
Can't remember.
You
Can you
remember.
believe that? I can't remember. But ever since then, now I can hear and remember lyrics and all that stuff, and it's not like I need to be high to do it. Like it unlocked something that I never had before.
Well, that
And
was good.
It's a weird thing. So I didn't have any lyrics back then.
I mean,
I didn't know it.
I don't really follow the lyrics. I'll follow the guitar and the vibe. And
That's
the
it.
sound.
The energy, the groove,
Yeah,
the
you know,
drive.
like some people are like doing the drums or playing the bass up high or down low.
For me, it's the groove of where they
Yeah,
are,
the
where those
groove.
guys were when they're doing what they're doing. Somehow I feel like I can hear if it was fun when they were recording it, if they were having a good time, or if they were hating their guts, each other's
can tell.
guts. I don't know if I can or not, but I feel like I can, and something energetically, I don't know.
Who knew you were so musical, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's a weird thing. It came so easily to me that I didn't pursue it.
Okay.
It's
You didn't have to work at it.
No, it was weird.
Stand-up comedy, maybe?
That feels like it would be very hard, and now this is the closest I've ever
Yeah,
gotten.
this is sort of like a comedy show, right?
You've done the time. What haven't? Is there anything we should mention that we didn't? Is there anything we got to plug that I forgot?
No, I think you plugged
the Magnus Walker
Yeah.
comic book
Yeah.
from Fireball Tim
Mr.
Publishing.
Fireball Tim, yeah.
Color-
He's been here
book.
since you were here
I
last.
know. He's quite a character. Yeah, you can buy that. I mean, it's $9.99 on that thing called Amazon. You can get it in a couple of days, and it's for kids of all ages.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The Nike shoes are a blowout.
Nike shoes, next big thing, season 2.
new
Haggerty's YouTube channel, Friday, 9 a.m.
Oh, 9 a.m. they launch. And is it one a week? Is that how they're coming?
One a week, as far as I'm aware. So, that runs me through to September. Hopefully we get picked up for season 3, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm already working on some other show ideas. I've got
I was gonna
a
ask.
dozen show ideas that I think, might be interesting. Concept cars that never got made, art cars. I've got a whole list of things.
Art cars would be fun.
Yeah, I think
I love
art
the
cars.
BMW art
yeah,
car program.
I think there could be an episode or a small
Can I
series.
come with you if you do those? I want to go see
for
the art,
sure.
the Warhol car. and
Yeah,
all
it'd be
that
awesome,
shit.
right? There was that
Yeah.
exhibit at the Peterson Museum probably 2 years ago with the
Couple years
BMW
ago.
cars. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Next big thing, Nike, more Nike, new house. Oh, just new cars. You have any new cars? The
What?
Turbo, I think, was the last thing you had bought. The 991 Turbo.
Well, I can tell a story about that if we got time.
Sure.
There is the key to happiness right there.
Oh, that's what we're driving today.
I drove
what are
it
you
today.
driving today?
What are you driving today? Let me tell the story about the 991 Turbo S.
Okay.
We got time for that?
Sure.
Another Paul Kramer story. Another Good Vibes Breakfast Club story, actually. Friday morning, I'm talking to Paul, bending his ear. I'm thinking about 997 Turbo.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about
Bit
that.
of a daily. Paul goes, I got the car for you. He goes, it's not a 997, it's a 991. I go, I'm not interested in a 991. I'd never really lusted after a 991. I'd driven
It's a
them.
991 Turbo S. It was the top dog of
It was
the.
the top dog, yeah, but for me, it's an expensive car. It's a six-figure car, right? It just wasn't really in my ballpark. It's
I just meant I didn't think it would be in your interest.
no. Well, I'm a goal-orientated collector, and the goal is to have one of every generation of 911, and one of everything Porsche's ever made in a sports car. So front
Oh, so it
engine,
does
mid-engine,
check a
rear
box.
engine. It checks a box. It's a low-priority check, but there's a box that needed to be checked. And I don't buy cars in chronological order. Like I'm up to, I'm up to a
That
nine.
would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But some people will, right? Some people only buy black cars, red cars,
True.
white cars. So I've dipped my toe in the water-cooled era. I got a GT3, 04 GT3. That was the first one I got back in 2016. Then I ended up getting Aero Kit Gen 1, 99, and then a King of the Hill GT2. I go, 997 Turbo just kind of feels like a bit of a daily looking for. Anyway, Paul goes, I have the car for you. He goes, this is the perfect car for you. I go, what is it? He goes, one owner car, lifelong LA car, delivered to Walters Porsche in Riverside, same owner, 162,000 miles on it. I go, okay, what do you want for it? He goes, well, it had a sticker price in 2014 of $193,000.
But wait, there's more.
It's in the
He's selling knives over there.
chopping it up. He goes, 50 pages of invoices, the prior owner commuted from Newport Beach to Beverly Hills every day or something like that, freeway miles, 50 pages of receipts. He replaced the transmission 2 years ago at 120,000 miles. Apparently the guy didn't like to use the brakes. He just downshifted,
Sure.
slowed the car down,
Sure.
went through the transmission, replaced that. He goes, it's pennies on the dollar, literally pennies on the dollar. So I went down there to drive
And
it.
991 is a PDK. That's a PDK transmission. It's not a-
991 Turbo S is PDK. 991 Turbo, you can get a manual.
Ah, okay.
So I go, I don't really want a PDK. It's a glass sunroof. It's a rhodium silver metallic, red interior. It's a rollout color. But I got to go look at it because it's so affordable.
Actually, I saw you. I was with you that morning. And you're like, oh, you'll never believe what I'm doing.
So I drove down to the OC, Pinstripe. Chris was there. I go, let's go for a drive in this thing. We get on the 55. I floor it. I looked at him. He looked at me, and it just felt underwhelming. But then I looked down, and we were doing triple digit, but there was no drama. But I went back to Paul's, and of course, I had to buy it, even though I didn't need it.
No.
And I wasn't super mega excited about it. And then when I drove it home, I'd drive it and I'd get out of it. I wouldn't look over the shoulder. It had no personality. I was jokingly referring it to as like a grocery go-getter, fast grocery getter car. It just didn't, it was comfortable and it did everything great, but there was no engagement, it seemed.
That's the kind of car, it feels like it rolls out the red carpet for you.
Yeah, I mean, it drives up the crest really quick, but it's not quite as engaging. And I didn't regret buying it, but I wasn't fully in love with it. And everyone was like, oh, that's like the King of the Hill car 7 years ago. I go, yeah, but it doesn't have a ton of personality. But here's where things changed. H and I took a drive to Moab, Utah. Went to this thing called Easter Jeep Safari. Let's go, let's drive the turbo there. And we drove it back the scenic way. We went through Arizona, Flagstaff. We did 800 miles in one day.
Oh, my gosh.
And we stopped a couple of times, did some scenic photos. We got a speeding ticket in the middle of nowhere. Got pulled over by a cop. And then, we managed to get home in 12 hours. There was some traffic delays. And this is when I finally realized what this car is about. 12 hours in the seat. We got up. We got out of it. We weren't aching. Your legs weren't numb. Your back wasn't sore. My ears weren't ringing. And I go, this is where this car excels.
Try that.
Plenty fast enough up the crest. You can cruise in bumper-to-bumper traffic like I did getting here. The hour drive to Santa Monica, if you're doing it, it's not that unpleasant in that car. So it just ticked all the boxes. And finally I realized this is where this car excels. It's like the jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So that's
And
what,
like you said, no drama. Fast as can be, no drama.
yeah, so that's what I drove today. And without Paul Kramer, I wouldn't have the key to happiness right there.
You got to feel it. The GT2 was an auto kennel car too.
GT2 was another great Paul
remember
Kramer
that
story. Lifelong LA car. I'm the third owner of the 996 2002 GT2. Similar story. 92,000 miles on the GT2. So the moral to the story is after I'd bought the 991, I really started looking, what do these things actually sell for? They're six-figure cars all day long. But the average one had 20, 30,000 miles on it. Mm-hmm. So the person that's looking for a 2014 991 Turbo S, not interested in one with over 100,000 miles on it. But for me, I've looked at plenty of others that don't appear to be any better condition than the one I have with 165,000 miles on it now.
And they're twice the price.
Yeah, it's not like four guys thrashed the crap out of it and it's beat up. No one ever sat in the passenger seat. You look at it and go, sometimes I say to people, hey, how many miles do you think this car's got? And they go, I don't know, 40, 50. And I go, no, it's got 165,000. They can't believe it.
Yeah.
So
I felt the same way when you showed up. The thing's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's just so new and shiny. I mean, the other thing, too, is I can't really... Well, 992 is out, so it's a little easier now. But your car and, 6 months ago or a year ago, I couldn't tell the difference between that and a brand new one.
yeah, I get it.
So
I just look now.
Killer deal.
I just now look at the front hood, and the 992's got the squared off front hood.
The straight hood.
That's
one
like
of
the
things I
giveaway,
love.
and then the rear end to it. But I keep trying to decide, do I leave it stock? Because I don't really leave much stock. And then I got this crazy idea of doing other things with it. And then I go, no, just leave it stock. Because I think it's the highest mileage 991 Turbo S in the country.
Oh, well, so you have that as well. But also, we said this one time before, it's nice to be able to be invisible. It's nice to be able to just...
Yeah, and weirdly, you kind of blend in that car in L.A.
That's what I mean.
And
you can't do that in most of your other rides.
No. Yeah.
Oh, there goes Magnus. There he is.
It's almost under the radar. I mean, talking about blending in, Sunday we went to Malibu Cars and Coffee that was a no-show. Everyone comes up to you like, what did you drive? I go, 2002 Chevy van.
That was true.
You want to be under the radar? 2002 Chevy van, you're under the radar. Because 4th of July weekend, I don't want to be driving anything that stands out.
No, it's true.
You noticed all those cops on
Everywhere.
PCH, right?
Everywhere.
Yeah, so my theory on any holiday weekend, whatever it is, Memorial Day, Labor Day, whatever it is, 4th of July, if I got to drive, I'm in the van, super low-key.
Is that? Do you own that van? I mean, is that a?
Yeah. I've had it for 20 years.
I pulled
At
up.
least.
I pulled up at the new house the other day. I pulled up behind this van, and it's kind of, I'm waiting for Magnus to get out of the. Oh, are you about a size 14 or? It looks like.
Yeah, Chevy
Puts
van.
the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
You know, I'm hauling stuff around. There's Home Depot trips. We're moving furniture. The van's kind of a cool place to be. 'Cause
Utilitarian. You need to have that.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
know
know-
you had an invisible car. That's good. That's
I
good.
got a few, but the van, I really like driving the van. It just blends in.
How you doing? We good?
We're good.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's see. I know there's some stuff I'm supposed to say. It's on one of these cards. Here it is.
Cue card.
Thank you, Mr. Magnus Walker. Go follow at Magnus Walker, obviously. Check
Something
out the
like
YouTube channel, which is everything's at Magnus Walker.
That's it.
Still no website? Working
I-
on that. It's
I
a
got-
theoretical someday when you want to sell some more shit
I
someday.
got a placeholder there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So that's two.
That's it. Remember
Yeah,
the beat?
that's almost it. That's almost it. Thank you to... We didn't do the East Coast feed. We didn't do the other stuff. But thanks to Jane Leno, Smoking Tire, all the other stuff. All right. We are back on Thursday with Kurt Bradley, automotive
yeah.
journalist. You know Kurt?
I know Kurt.
All right.
Writes for Jalopnik quite a bit.
He does, yeah, exactly. And comes up to Breakfast Club when he's
Kurt
in town.
took a photo of me at Coda with an American flag behind where I'm wearing this big Texas cowboy hat that I always pull it out on 4th of July. He's a good photographer
Yeah.
and a good writer, too.
But that's nice that you at the Circuit of the Americas showing your
know,
stars
fi-
and stripes. And
Finally became a U.S. citizen like 2 years ago after being in the country
forgot
for
about that.
33 years. So
dual.
dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Still got the Union Jack passport. You know, best of both, I guess.
All right. I love you. Magnus, we both love you. Stiglet,
feel
we
the
all
love.
love you.
Yeah,
we love,
Stigler's getting a lot of love in the house.
we love everybody on Instagram over there who is loving us
Are
back.
those the grammars?
We love everybody on YouTube.
A whole lot of love here. It's
please-
like
please
a
love
Led
one
Zeppelin
another.
song. That's right. Do you know the words to that?
No,
You don't
I got to
know.
start listening to all those
All
old
right, a whole
songs
lot
again.
of love.
Yeah, I told some embarrassing stuff. What are you going to do? Please love one another, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. Love the one you're with.
That's it.
All right, we out?